These tables have random.
Yeah. No.
You're good to go.
And action.
Call the meeting to order, and I asked John Coyle to establish a quorum. Do we have a quorum, Mr. Coyle?
I don't know, are you looking for a vice president or
Secretary?
secretary maybe?
Yeah.
I'm not secretary, am I?
No.
Oh, I'm
Rick
sorry.
is.
I'm sorry. Rick, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Do we have a quorum?
We have a quorum.
Members speaking? Do we have any members speaking?
You do, Debbie Panisi.
Come on up, Deb. Or you can stay there if you want.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. I'm Debbie Panisi. I think I know a lot of you here in the room. I live in the coach homes. And I'm here, I want to first thank you all for the time and commitment that you give to our community. And recognize that more often than we do. But I'm here today to discuss the fitness plan that's before you to vote on today. I'm here as a member of the activities committee. I'm not here to talk to you about reviewing the status of the stats that came from the survey or the cost of the plan. That's a job that we entrust to you guys. But I am here as a member of the activities committee to talk to you about some of the pressures that plan puts on the rest of the people in the community that may not, or may even take part in the fitness plan. They might also be taking part in activities here in the clubhouse. So I'd like to talk a little bit about what many times when you walk through that multi-purpose room, it's empty. And people say that when they walk by the gym, many times it's empty. Both of those statements are true. But when they're not, that's when the problem is. And so the times that happens in the multi-purpose room is that we have, some people play cards down there, some people have chat sessions down there. You see it get used, randomly throughout the week. Upstairs, we have people playing cards, we have people playing dominoes, we have people playing a variety of games. Community members, old and new, they get together here in the building. When something else happens up here, when there's an event scheduled, like today, when there's an event scheduled, often predetermined by the vendor and when they're available, this room has to be closed down, either to use it or to prepare to use it, maybe for an event that evening, maybe for a bocce luncheon, maybe for a Friday dinner. In any event, it does get closed down. Those people then go downstairs. And that's when you see an overpass. It's really stretched to its maximum. So I guess I'm here to make sure that you have that information when you review today. I was excited to see the plan. I only got, to look at it this week. That's what I'll talk about, that I wish we had more time to see it. I have to say that Lucy and Simone were fabulous at meeting with me and others and even responding to emails last night. There's an exciting part of that plan that I think presents a lot to the community. There's one part where it does talk though about, I think item 2 says that we regain space in the multi-purpose room. Well, that's at a net loss because we lose space in item 1. How much space? I guess it depends on, if we had templates and could lay out the tables, there's some space that becomes more usable, and that's what it references. It isn't very useful now because of doorways. That's where I asked that maybe as committees, if we had a better way to meet that better and discuss it, people using the multi-purpose room, there might be an opportunity for them to contribute on how the space would be more usable to them. Also, there'd be less feeling about, robbing from Peter to pay Paul. That's there now. We'll work toward that. Or one group gets preference over another. That happens, and we try to minimize that. So it's always better if we can get looking at both sides ahead of time. We will have to look at it from an activities committee perspective, creating some more rules. Who gets priority? Who gets to go down to that multi-purpose room? When the stress happens. There'll be some angst. I just caution you that. As always, I would have preferred to come to the board with a problem recommending a solution. I don't think I have a solution for you, but hope I've given you enough information and can be there to help in whatever way the plan seems to work out.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you. Secretary's report, minutes, Rick?
I have a motion to approve the minutes of March 2025.
Second. Lucy? All in favor, say aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Carried. President's report, I do have a few things I want to say, about my thoughts. My personal thoughts are that, in my mind, homeowners are always on my primary agenda. They are our constituents, they are who we represent, they are our customers. That's the way it's supposed to work. All my votes will be for what is good for this community. And just to say it up front, pickleball, tennis, bocce, all those other things are a distant second for me. They're important and there are amenities on our business, but they are a distant second for me. One of my things is more efficient meetings, so don't get upset if I ask you to hurry along if you're on a 20-minute monologue. 4-hour meetings to me are just not the way to go. I also want to say that I think we have a great community. I believe in this community or I wouldn't be sitting here. And I also think that this board can take this community even farther. It's not like we're taking over a wreck ship. Everything is very good. People are happy. It's a great community. I really am really happy that I moved here, and I think most people are. The other thing is finances. That's always super important. I want to thank John and the finance committee and the whole board. Without the money in order, then nothing else happens. And we are in a good financial standing, and that is super important. And again, I wanted to thank the finance committee and John for that. The tennis situation is that we currently have several tennis pros giving lessons to our members. So if they still want lessons, they can have them. But the difference is now that a portion of those lessons proceeds is coming back to the club. Previously, 100% of it went to the pro. We're gonna address that in the future, whatever this board decides to do, we're gonna go forward, but we're really in no hurry right now. We've got other things on the, to address before that. And also, it's the off season now. We don't need to be worried about it. If this was November or December, I think we'd be scrambling. And there are a few tennis pros in Southwest Florida. I think we'll be fine. Again, that's my thoughts. Now I'm going to turn it over to Mark for the general manager's report.
Okay, everybody, we're gonna follow right up on what Steve was talking about, and that's, we have been interviewing local tennis professionals for the summer season as a contract labor person, not on payroll, not to be paid for through the payroll system here at the club, which wouldn't burden the financial operations of the tennis department. This would be a person who is going to come in, be able to provide clinics, personal lessons for those that feel that they would like to continue their summer work. Now, we do have a lot of people that are still here, and so the tennis office has put out a I guess a kind of a survey questionnaire to the tennis membership to ask them how they feel. So far, 66% of the respondents have said that they would appreciate some form of pro interaction, whether or not that be clinics, drop-ins, or individual lessons if necessary. So we hope to have somebody put together. I've interviewed 5 or 6 individuals so far that have come through the door. We're looking for somebody who is approachable, that has a good personality, that is professional in their presentation, and also be able to market themselves through their quality of their work. So we're looking at putting something together and working hand in hand with George on a daily basis as we move through that. So many of these individuals, of course, have submitted their resumes for the vacant director of tennis position. And I appreciate Ed Kokla's help in collecting these resumes. I'd just like to remind the residents and to be cautious when engaging with potential candidates. Please remember that members are volunteers and don't have the hiring authority or represent the club management in an official capacity. So I know that there's a lot of people out there. I've gotten several comments from other members tennis members, that are out there that are, may live in other parts, especially non-residents who live in other parts of the community who have all said, I've got over here, I've got this person, I've got that, and I think, I'll bring them by and, they work great for me. I want them for you as well. So, we're just telling everybody to be cautious about that. The board will be, discussing the installation of the riprap stone along the Wildcat shoreline, which we brought up at the board meetings for a couple of months previous to this. I also plan to ask that whoever the selected contractor is, whether or not some additional rock, when they are buying that, if we can put that into the corner, northwest corner of the marsh over by the condos. There's a basin there that is the collector and the stormwater collector for when we get a lot of water. That's where the water goes and flows through and goes out to Lake 2 and onward. We want to make sure that that rock is in there we don't want any more erosion, and we don't want any real growth in that area, so that we can have as much water moving through that as well. So that'll take care of that, with a contractor that comes through the door. We've been working with the various seal coating companies. Cezanne's been helping me a lot with that to seal coat and restripe the roads. When we first got it, we kind of looked at it, it was a lot of money, but we started looking at the reserve monies that were in there. We're pretty close to having enough money already in the reserves to manage this situation. Petroleum products have vastly increased. And even when we do our reserve study, it's hard to get the accurate square footage or square yardage pricing from these contractors to make sure that our reserves equally match the bids that are coming in maybe a year later or 2 years later than we've asked for those numbers to be in the reserve study. So that's going to be on the new business as well. The street signage, you've seen all of the green poles out there with the street signs have all been repainted, and all of the signs have been replaced. Sweetwater Cove is now Sweetwater Cove and not Sweetwater Lane. I think that only took us 10 or 12 years to get that fixed. So, but now when your Google Maps come through, the people won't be wandering all over the place. They'll be able to get to where they need to go. I also got a quote for the green post and panel signs that's on the entrance to Sweetwater Cove, Clubhouse, Preserve, Sanctuary Point, the green post and panel, the one down at the very bottom of the hill, and also entrance to the condos. That quote is here in the new business. Comment on that the landscaping committee has asked previously to look at changing out those post and panel signs to have them all monument type signs, as we've said before. I think John Coyle mentioned that we want to maybe keep some differences rather than having it all look like gravestones. So that's up for the board to decide on. New tennis shed. We went to Amazon Sheds for I think a little right around $2,000 or less than $2,000 and put a new shed in here next to the bottom of the stairs. We want to make sure that we have an opportunity to take the ball machines, and the ball machine currently is those that use it is stored in the food and beverage table and chair closet down in the multi-purpose room, so that's difficult to get in and out. This is going to be open and be available for use. We're going to try to put a lock that at least locks it up, so that there'll be a lock that you can punch a number on it, which we can get from the pro shop, so that's just not open 24/7 at night. I can tell you that lately, especially as we get into where the school's getting out, we have a number of teenagers that are in the community, and we've had to kick them out of the downstairs at 11 o'clock at night or past. They've been wandering around at night. We've had some people racing around on their bikes, trying to get in the back gate when it's not open. So we're just going to try to keep those under control.
You skipped over it.
I also was asked to obtain a quote for the street lights that are in the medians. they're all black because that's the way they were bought. I was asked, can we get a quote to see if they would be green? And then they would match all of the signposts, including street signs. Now, those our street signs. FP&L owns the ones in the condos and the ones in Sanctuary Point. Those tall black ones that are in there, that's theirs. And we don't fix them, and we wouldn't paint them. We wouldn't, because that's all FP&L's bailiwick. So this would be only the 64 that we have throughout the community. They're on the medians going up and down the middle of the roads. And that quote is in your packet as well. All right, moving on here, we've got this is one of the years that it's gotten a little drier than normal. I think for the past couple of years, we've had a fairly warm and wet winter. We haven't had to have to deal with this super dry air at high temperatures. I can only tell you that you're gonna see tomorrow in the FYI, a letter from Expert Lawn Care about the lawns and how the grass is not gonna recover very quickly if it's smashed down. I've actually asked Expert if they can take a week off from mowing so that they're not crisscrossing some of these dry yards and making crushing the grass at 92 degrees in the afternoon. It's not growing all that well because it is starved for water. We have several homes out there who've decided to shut off their water. We've got lots of ground. We have to take care of that as well. So the lakes are down. We're going to be shutting off the fountains very shortly here, probably next week, to make sure that we don't start sucking up mud and ruining those multi-$1,000 fountains. May begins, and that means reciprocals are here. Laura's been working diligently trying to get all the reciprocals together for everybody that wants to go and eat at another place, go play golf at another place, play pickleball or tennis, or go out and see what other clubs have. A lot of clubs have undergone renovation over the past few years. So we're gonna, that page is available on the website, and you'll be able to click in there and get a hold of Laura, or even in the tennis shop. They'll be able to help you make reservations for golf. I would still go through Laura and Nicole for the dining at these other establishments, though, just to make sure that you're all set for those. So this summer, we're ongoing recently completed projects. We've got and we're gonna work on. The boardwalk is gonna have new decking put into those areas that are broken. We're gonna look at putting Trex on the railings so that it stays there longer without having to worry about it. The sidewalk humps that are there by the trees, walk where you walk there, we'll redo those areas again like we did last year. Concrete valley curbs where they're holding too much water in front of people's driveways, and the ASC comes along and dings you for a dirty driveway, but it's because you've got mud sitting in front of every time you drive on it. So we're going to try to get those repaired. And then I think probably in that second week of May, the pool chaise lounges and the other 8 umbrellas will be delivered to fill in those. I'm probably going to go ahead and keep the umbrellas off to the side because the summer storms, we don't need any more umbrellas going down. We don't have that many people at the pool in the summer. We have plenty of umbrellas right now for the people that are there. We will just take away the old brown chaise lounges that are having the problems with the screening in them and replace those with the 30 new, so that you'll have a very more uniform look out at the pool area here soon. So come to this is my last item on my report. I've decided that it's time for me to retire. Some of you know about this and some of you don't. I just wanted to let everybody know publicly here at this meeting. I discussed it with the president. He's aware of the situation. And will be sending my official letter of resignation to all the board, the residents, the staff, and the members of Sterling Oaks immediately after this meeting. The decision was difficult, and it took a lot of personal preparation, as many of you know. Now that I think most of you are all retired in here, that transition takes a lot of forethought And it takes a lot of preparation and planning to make sure that, you know, what are you gonna do and how you're gonna do it. And that's something that I've had to undertake, with my family, my kids. And, I felt it was the right time. Just to let all of you know, I'll be 70 this year, and, I've kept it together for as long as I did and didn't take the 65 route. And that's because I've been blessed to work, here at Sterling Oaks over the past 12 years and really, have enjoyed, for the most part. It's been some difficult times, but for the most part, it's been a wonderful place to work. And, I can't say enough, and there is some things that Steve said, and that's something that I feel like I'm leaving you all in very good hands. You've got a great group of volunteers. You've got a fantastic staff that is currently working here, and then financially, you're in great shape. So, you know, there's not a lot that really needs to be fixed. And I look forward to assisting in any way that I can during this transition. I plan on being here for the next month in May, and in June, you know, I usually take my annual vacation in July to go up to Canada to take care of my family's house that's been there since the early 1900s, and I'll be doing that again. But I'll be talking to the board about what I can do to assist in any transition that they seem that they feel feasible, and that I can assist with if they want me. So with that ends my report. Thank you all.
I want to be the first to say thank you, Mark, from all of us and our whole community. Tried to get another year out of him, but he wouldn't go along with it. I tried to do it, but he was ready. We all know that. Once you're ready, you're ready. But again, thank you, Mark, and best of luck. And you're not done with us yet. We're gonna do a little transition as time goes on. So he's not totally done with us yet.
Thank you.
We're gonna go to the architectural standards, but Rick, I wanted to say before you start that I want to thank your committee. It's a really tough committee to chair. You're not the bearer of the best news when you meet with people.
I have fewer friends than I
I can't know much for your friends.
I'm sorry, do you want to go to treasurer's report first?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I skip the treasure? Sorry, Mr. Mulligan. How can I forget you? Go ahead, John. Sorry.
I know, wow. Out of sight, out of mind. Well, first of all, I want to thank Mark too personally, because we've worked together a lot over the last 4 years, and I think you've done a great job. So anyway, let me go. I'll start with the, where'd it go? The delinquency accounts. I make a motion to suspend the following members as described in Sterling Oaks College collection policy and refer the account to our attorney to pursue all legal remedies available if not current by May 1st, 2025. F0059 Tavernier, K0051 condos, K0065 condos, R0071 Sanctuary Point.
Second, anybody? Second. John Irish, all in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Okay, John.
Okay, now to the official treasurer's report. Operating cash is $873,000. Total cash is $1.6 million. Okay, in the first quarter of 2025, we had a net income of $59,000 versus a budget of $69,000 for an unfavorable variance of $10,000. Tennis has a favorable variance to budget of $10,000 on net income of $47,000. There's $15,000 of expenses coming from reserves and a long-term capital fund. Social had an unfavorable variance to budget for the quarter of $32,000. Part of this is timing, part of it is the weather, and part of that part was just lower participation than we expected. I'll touch on that a little bit later. Common areas had a favorable variance to budget of $36,000, and most of that is timing of expenses. G&A had an unfavorable variance to budget of $10,000. G&A is made up of several line items with pluses and minuses, and some due to timing, but the biggest driver of that variance is due to our legal fees. We've had 3 different situations that required legal advice and services. That should be dropping going forward. On a good note, our capital contributions, home resales, which has been down the last couple of years, has picked up in March, and we're actually favorable to budget through the first quarter. And April was also a good month. Okay. So let's go back to social. I mentioned earlier, social is $32,000 unfavorable to budget. I said a part of it is due to lower participation. This is either at events or just at the cabana, even though the pool was packed at times. And why is this? We don't know. We'll be working with this with Nicole and Mark and the activities committee. Are we oversaturated with events? Do we need new events? Do we need F&B minimums? Are we taking away customers for one night just to attend another night's event 2 days prior? I know not every event has to make money, and we try to do as many events as possible, include as many people. We just have to balance the two. I'm bringing this up right now to show my concern as well as the finance committee's concerned regarding this. Also to bring it up to the attention of our new activities chairperson and liaison. Any questions on anything?
Have you noticed, a decline in reservations since we instituted the policy that outside tennis members have to wait 2 days before they can make a reservation?
I really can't hear that, so can somebody get closer to the mic or repeat that?
His mic that probably he can hear out of is that little puck in front of Ed.
John, my question is, since we changed the policy where outside tennis members could only make reservations for events and dining, 2 days after the reservations open, have we noticed a loss of income that may be attributed to that or not?
Not to my knowledge, but we'll have to check that with Nicole and Mark. It's only 2 days, so if people are planning to come in, 2 days should not matter. It's not like we're making them do it 2 days ahead of time. It's just 12 days instead of 14 days, so I don't think that.
I know it shouldn't, but I did notice faces that I've seen before at certain events, I did not see, and they were outside members. So I'm just wondering if somebody could check on that.
Okay. Mark, can you have Nicole check on that, please?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Anything else, John?
No, that's it for me.
Any other questions for John? All right, thank you, John. Where are we now? We actually, Rick, architecture standards. Rick, I also just wanted to say thank you again. It's not the most friendly committee to be chairing, and I also want to say that I think they do a great job. It's really important that our community stay really pristine and looking the way it does, and all what you guys do keeps it going that way. And I also want to say that the board wants and gets no preferential treatment. I can vouch for that for the 3 violations that I got. And I've addressed all of them. And I have addressed all of them. But anyway, thank you, and thank your committee. When you see them, I don't know how you get volunteers.
I will think. Back to my, metal roofing, and probably everybody's sick of it by now, but hopefully we're gonna wrap this up today. For the last year and a half plus, the committee has been diligently researching and gathering information on metal roofs. I don't know if anyone noticed on their way in, the beautiful display that Cezanne and the committee have put up there. And that shows the, all the information needed for potential owners buying metal roofs in each of the communities. The color, it all basically relates to the color based on our base colors. And every roof will have a matching profile, whether it's a barrel tile or a flat tile. That will carry all the way through there. All the information is there on that display, and I'd be happy to talk to anybody about it that's interested. My neighbor back there, Mr. Shorts, is actually maybe the very first one in the community that will have one. He's about ready to pull the trigger on it, so. Therefore, the Architectural Standards Committee respectfully requests that the Board of Directors review and approve the following proposed metal roofing profiles and color options for specific subdivisions within Sterling Oaks. The recommendations are organized by subdivision and include both manufacturer and color selection.
Second,
Second.
John Irish, any discussion? Go ahead.
Will the only option be metal roofs, or we still can use the?
Metal roofs is an option.
It's an option, you can, yeah,
You don't have to.
you don't have to have them, and the metal will be either coated or solid coated.
It's an option we currently don't have.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Questions, discussion? All in favor? Say aye. Aye. Anyone against? Good job, thank you. All
Thank
right,
you, and the committee thanks you.
all right, Rick, you got one more?
I have the violations. Standing violation has been sent at least 2 violations notices. A motion to impose a fine of $100 per day for each outstanding violation for up to 10 days. Additionally, construct contact the association to address and correct these violations effective as of the date of the compliance committee hearing. Tentatively scheduled for May 22nd, the next board meeting. These are 14879 Sterling Oaks Drive, dead tree. 14887 Sterling Oaks Drive, garage door that will be replaced on Saturday, so. that will happen. 1290 Sweetwater Cove, Acacia.
Second, anybody? Lucy, any discussion? All in favor?
But
Opposed? Yeah,
I
go
have a
ahead.
question.
Yes,
So these 3 people, they've been given ample warning and just haven't responded or tell us to go to hell, or what is the situation?
I know there was one on 14887, there's sort of an appeal going on. And some contradictory information, perception of, one of the AAC members, but it's been taken care of. And that project will be repaired immediately. This was already in the works, but I've just gotten notice that that person is taking care of their violation.
I guess the question, is anyone saying, no, I'm not doing it, or you don't know?
The others, I haven't responded
They
to
haven't
me.
responded. There's still time.
Yes,
Okay,
Okay,
all right, Jen? Where were we?
we need, I think you're good. I think everybody approved it.
Everything's good. Rick, you all done?
I'm glad, thank you.
We're just gonna go a little bit out over here. I'm gonna go with landscaping next and then fitness after that. Landscaping?
The first phase of landscaping has been planned in 2025 year. This includes the preserve entry median, the manatee common ground on Silver Strand, Wildcat entry island median, the median by house number 14908, Wildcat monument sign area cleanup, Wildcat pool area, Sweetwater Cove Island. However, for this area, we feel it needs additional work and we'll address it at our next meeting. Phase 2 has been examined, estimates were reviewed and changed, and new ones received and approved by the committee. This phase is refreshing the intersection corners areas between the sidewalk and the street on the marsh side, and some areas between the sidewalk and the marsh. Estimates have been broken down to areas to the one east side of the intersection of Sterling Oaks Boulevard and Sterling Oaks Drive at a cost of $1,915.50. The north side of the intersection in between the sidewalk and the road sod costs $55.25. South side of the intersection, it costs $3,845. The east end of the entry road island and center island is costing $2,636.50. And the marsh side of Sterling Oaks Boulevard at a cost of $6,354.50. That's a total of $20,276.50. Phase 3 has yet to be determined, however, it may include updates to phase 1 and phase 2 plantings if we don't deem them sufficient. Respectfully submitted by Linda Moxley, Chair.
Any questions for Linda? Okay, then we're gonna go to Lucy and fitness.
We need to make a motion on.
Oh, we need a motion. All right, go ahead, make a motion.
Make a motion to approve spending $20,276.50 to expert.
Second? Ed, any discussion or questions?
Is that out of the landscaping budget?
Yes, the replacement budget.
Okay.
There's 65
Yes.
there for the year, so we've only used
Sorry,
12.
landscaping.
So,
Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Linda, are you all set? Okay, now we're gonna go to Lucy with fitness, and Lucy's gonna make the presentation, and we're gonna have a discussion. And we'll see if we get a motion in a second, and where we go from there. Go ahead.
So before we get started, two things. One is gonna say, I have less friends than you with this project.
Lucy, turn your mic.
I have less friends than Rick with this project. But I do want to thank, those who came, this week to look at the space and to better understand what the objective is and why we're doing this. And I want to remind everyone in this room, and I was watching Squat Talks this morning, and it said, every meeting this person goes to, they come with an open mind. So I'm gonna come with an open mind and ask you all to have an open mind as we're walking through this. Steve, you suggested that we're here for the community number one. So in the 2020-30 survey, the community asked for upgrades to the fitness amenities. So we started a project team in April of 2023 to undergo that fitness amenity project. It's taken us to here to get to the place where we have proposals on the table in order to facilitate what specifically the members asked for through the Pulse survey in the fall of 2024. When the project team was put together in April, we went through all of the feedback that was received in the survey. We matched it up with what was in the strategic plan, and the team put together some high-level activities that we needed to put in front of us in order to address what the residents were telling us. We felt that we didn't have enough information, so we asked for a survey to be done. We asked the board if we could facilitate a survey, which was done in the fall of 2024, together with the tennis survey, which we therefore called the Pulse survey. What that did is it gave us more in-depth information as to what specifically the community wanted and who was using the facilities, and would they be deemed to use the facilities more often or more regularly than they would now if we did such improvements. The responses in the Pulse survey, for those of you that, and I went back to everything in the last 2 days because I've been hearing feedback, and your feedback is very important. And sometimes people come in at different parts of the project or different parts of the discussion. And I know we have 2 new board members, and we have new members of that are leading some of our committees. So I thought it was important to give a little bit of background as to how we got here. What was the budget we were provided? We weren't provided a budget. We were asked to facilitate the project and come up with what the budget was to be. A couple of things that came out of the surveys was very sounding response to the community doesn't feel that their voice is heard when they have suggestions. The survey from 2020 to 2023 decreased, the results decreased from 3.4 to 2.12. Like, if we're asking your community to provide us feedback, then we need to listen to that feedback. So I want you to have an open mind as to what we're putting in front of you in terms of what the residents have asked for. This is not my idea. This is my team's execution of the idea, no different than steel metal roots. So while the solution that we're putting in front of you serves the facility, the fitness facility amenity, it also does not take away from the NPR room, in the sense that we can still accommodate the same number of chairs that we accommodate today in the multi-purpose room. And this is a little bit to Debbie's conversation earlier, was the space is smaller, but the number of chairs that we can put in there is the same. So we're not taking that space away. The other part of that survey was surrounding the sauna. And we have identified that while the sauna is use, it hasn't been upgraded in over 30 years since its original form. So we've integrated the fitness hours, we've integrated the increasing the value proposition in terms of, your value for your property, because that was really important. It was important to bring, variety. This is what the feedback was, for us to bring variety to our membership. We would increase usage of the fitness facility by 27% of the respondents, which was 458 respondents to the pulse survey. If we included variety, and that variety included fitness classes. So we also solving for the demand for fitness classes through the solution that we put in the proposal budget and the proposal in front of you in the board package. So nothing that we have proposed is outside of what was asked, is outside of what is needed, takes away from anybody else in the community. And sadly, we have no more landscape that we can take up unless we start taking up the tennis courts or we buy other property. So what we think we've come up with, which is in the package, is going to solve all of those problems.
Okay, thank you, Lucy, and thank your committee for all of their hard work. I just also like to start off by saying that having a state-of-the-art facility for our exercise facility is a great thing for our community. I'd like to get our people off their couches and down there and taking a aerobics class. I think it's a great amenity for us. A deal killer for me was stealing from Peter to pay Paul, and I did a visit yesterday, and as long as all of those tables can fit in that other, the new area, and we're not stealing anything from them, then I'm okay with it. So again, I think it's a good thing for our community, and it's a good thing we should be promoting our people to get out of their homes and go down to the gym and do an aerobics class. Comments from the board? Rick?
Regarding the virtual wall, is that going to be somehow managed by taking reservations? Per member, or there, but people are just gonna line up? I mean, I think that's something people need to probably black time out, right?
Yeah, there's two options and we can explore that. And we can, both options are on, we would use both options. One is we would, depending on what specific classes folks wanted at specific time, we would block off that time in the calendar. It's a virtual app. You block off the time in the calendar. We would promote it on the website to say, you know, we're doing yoga 9 to 10, come and join. Most people want to do classes in the morning. After that time, an individual can go in there and use that space, or an individual can go in there when it's not reserved for chair yoga, or when it's not reserved for any other class, and sign in themselves to use a specific class.
You don't have to worry about people fighting for the space.
Well, I can't say that they won't fight over it.
But
I
it will
mean,
be
it
organized, it will be
yeah.
good.
There'll be a change for sure. That's a
And
good
it's
question.
kind of the same model as Peloton, right? Subscription.
The subscription is $150.
The subscription is $130 per month. So with this contract, we have, it has a 3-year subscription that's built into the price you have in front of you. So I sent you guys a YouTube video, I think yesterday. It kind of gave you a little brief summary of all that it offers. You can, you know, if somebody, a single person's going down there, you can click what equipment you have in front of you, and it'll tell you what you could do with the kettlebell or what you could do with the medicine ball. Or we could schedule a yoga class at 9:30 and make sure that that room is ready for yoga session to start at
The
9:30.
virtual trainer on the screen.
It's a
Yeah.
virtual trainer. Yeah, it's all recorded in Italy, I believe, and they update the content weekly. So it's not like gonna be old yoga classes every single week.
Like
You
we
get
said,
some-
Peloton, you know Peloton
I
is
like
very.
the Brian,
Yeah.
the reason Peloton has gone through, after COVID, they just went this way. And they
Yeah.
had changes in top management.
Yeah.
They're not doing very well. I think when the people that maybe was just the single focus of just, you know, not having the variety at this point, so I.
There's just like, you know,
The same concept as what they do in the pool. They have a virtual class, so it's a similar concept, just a wall. And the wall is, we call it a wall, but, and the equipment that comes with it is for the purpose of doing the class, like some classes you require kettlebells or you
They're all-
require, yeah, it's not that we're adding it on for the purpose of just having one.
Any other comments from the board?
I,
Lydia?
I do. First of all, I will say it was very well planned and designed, and I see a lot of work went into it. And had we have had the room to do it, I would have voted for it. But typically, first of all, this kind of morphed from a $10,000 wall 2 years ago, 3 years ago, to this project now, which could be, what, 150,000, 200,000, was that fair? So,
Less than one.
when I go to golf clubs and tennis clubs, and I love a lot of them. They have card rooms, just for cards. They have arts and crafts rooms, just for that. They have a small library and an activities room. We do not. We all use the multi-purpose room, and when we do, we are usually a large group. Like Mondays, with card games and all that, you could have 30, 40 people that would have to go down there. We have chat sessions, 10 to 20 people, possibly more. Sometimes expert meets with Mark and the crew down there. There are a lot of things that go on down there, but there's room. Well, it seems short-sighted to take space away from that. We need a large area to fulfill a desire for more space for an activity that frankly is a solo activity. You go in and you exercise by yourself. You don't move as a group. And if you can go down there and have your activity without a problem. But if you want a big activity, you could schedule it through the activity committee, just like a chair yoga is scheduled. And you can have the whole group. If you want to do workouts, you take the videos. A lot of people for years have done that at home by hooking it up to their TV screen. So again, there can be a solo thing done at home. In the meantime, we are actively marketing our clubhouse to increase outside use of our dining facility. This could put further more strain on the multi-purpose room. Also, it's a lot of money, and it takes away bathrooms that we paid for in the last renovation, and lots of space for those using the multi-purpose room. It also leaves a less desirable area due to the loss of natural light, as a whole bank of windows will be taken out and will be pushed into the interior area. Since we are elected to serve all the community, as you said, I wish we could have had our own survey so that we could have found out all that you found out. I know you would have found out we need more room. So to me, it's detrimental to a large portion of the community, and I think it is short-sighted and fiscally irresponsible. I think the board should be more proactive and look for ways to add additional room for all. We all need room. The office staff, they're crammed in there. I mean, there are so many areas we need room. I just think we should look for a bigger plan, instead of this piecemeal where you take away this and add that. I often think of trailers in the North Country, they're called chunks. We just keep adding on chunks that are taken away. And it's very expensive and very unsightly.
I think the only way to address the footprint is to have a major project.
I do.
And if this board decides they want to go that direction and go to a community vote, that's what we'll do. But I agree that there are definitely some constraints, especially in this building. And we're just trying to make the best of what we have right now. But I think the long-term answer is a big term project, and it would obviously have to go to a community vote. But it would address many of those things, like a galley kitchen that our poor cooks have to work in. And, you know, many of those areas would be addressed if this board decides they want to go with a big project, but that's down the road. That's down the road. This is just doing what we can do with what we currently have. Other comments? Ed, oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Lucy, then Ed.
Yeah, just, thank you for your questions and thank you for, the compliments on the plan. I think, I don't know that you understood that the point of having the virtual wall was to allow for fitness classes in a group setting, but also to enable someone to do it as an individual. Yeah. Okay, so,
Okay.
so that's my first. Okay, because you said just for an individual, that's your complex, okay. Then the other thing is, while we suggest that people want to do workouts at home, anybody who uses the fitness room, and I actually asked a couple of board members if they actually use the fitness room, the answer was no. So people are in the fitness room with their phones doing their own classes. They want to be here to do that. So they not only want to use the equipment down there, but they also want to have some space to do their own, because they don't have the weights, they don't have the whatever, they want to do their own custom. The third thing is Suzanne's team, they did keep track of the volume of people going through the fitness and the NPR room for a 2-week period in March. And every time the NPR room was busy was because, one, there was an event, or two, there was one time where the carpet was being cleaned here. And then there was 2 times that there was chat sessions, and people specifically asked for the chat sessions to be in the NPR room. It's typically on a Monday. So it's my understanding that the most people who use the clubhouse for their games or cards, they prefer to be up here. So we may have to do some scheduling to be able to accommodate the use of the NPR room, but there is no loss of chairs. There is less footprint.
Okay, Ed, thank you. Ed?
Yeah, I went through the survey and I did see, I agree that, there's a lot of, needs out there as far as expanding the fitness center, and I agree. I think one thing that we need to take a look at, because tennis may be going through a transition. We don't know right now what that transition might be. If we get a new pro in here, just as we've had in the past, the one thing to consider is that the office that the pro used was probably used 5% of the time, right? Very little use. Plus, he's got a closet there that for storage in that office space. And again, depending on what direction tennis goes and what they need as far as space goes, I would like to see us wait on this whole thing, not do anything until we know what tennis is gonna do. And if we don't need that large a space, because space is valuable in the club. If tennis does not need that large a space, the other option would be to move the tennis department downstairs in the multi-purpose room adjacent to the ice machine. And you could make it smaller, or relatively, the tennis office would be smaller. It would allow the fitness center to be much larger than what they're proposing right now, if we were able to use the tennis shop as a game room, cards, that sort of thing. I just think we're jumping ahead of, if we make this quick decision and we find out we don't need this big a space for the tennis office, and the other thing is, a lot of people do not, including myself, I don't come up here as often to the tennis shop because I don't like climbing stairs out. And I got a new need to prove it. I feel that maybe the tennis pro shop might be better suited down in that space down there. It would be a smaller footprint. The fitness center would be much larger than what they're even proposing, providing there's enough space in the pro shop right now to accommodate the games, the card games and everything like that. So I would like to just throw that out there as an option.
And I don't disagree with you, but doing the gym right now wouldn't prevent us from flip-flopping any office we wanted in this building to make it work. We did the gym now, you could still flip-flop tennis and the main office or downstairs or whatever you wanted to do. You're gonna be limited to our footprint, but we could still do anything we wanted, even at the expansion of the fitness center.
And the current proposal requires you to blow a hole in a structural wall to gain access into that space.
Mhm.
If you waited and the pro shop was moved downstairs, you wouldn't even need that door because you would have the double doors that are currently between the fitness center and the multi-purpose room as the access point to get in there. Therefore, making the multi-purpose room, or I'm sorry, the fitness center even larger than what they're proposing.
Okay,
So we talked about this and the square footage would probably be even less than what's going to be accommodated in the MPR room with the new change.
This square footage in the pro shop? Okay, I'm not sure what the square footage in the pro shop is.
Came up in discussion when we were talking yesterday downstairs. The second thing is, we just did a tennis survey and I don't think anybody suggested that we remove the pro shop.
Things have changed.
nor would they. Mark?
Just historically, if you go back in time, in the original Plan A, when we were looking at changing the clubhouse and adding in food and beverage operations and whatnot, there was a fairly large discussion about putting the tennis shop downstairs and putting an access door directly to the courtyard so that you'd be ground level, close to the courts, be able to check in, do whatever you needed to, and have it all right there. But this wall here, actually, the way this whole place was configured to have those funny walls in it, this was actually going to be a movable wall so that the whole place could be open and for dining, cards, large events, etc. And that would have been moved into a more of a card establishment. But with that, the space is not as large as the current footprint totally downstairs in the MPR. If you put the one on top of each other, the MPR is a little bit bigger than that whole room is there. We also looked at reconfiguring the offices, taking over the pro shop, parts of the pro shop to expand the offices, which has all been looked at before. So yeah, it really is. It's kind of doing a jigsaw puzzle and moving pieces around, but that has been discussed, Ed, and you know, that putting that office downstairs was something we talked about. It all got taken away though because of the costs associated with it, and the size of this space was not as large. Because we would have expanded the deck, there would have been more space for everything at that point in time. But since it didn't work out, that's why this stayed the way it was.
Mark, a little off topic, can you go to the air handler and the conversation you and I had about replacing the air handler today?
So down in the well, there's two air handlers, two AC systems. One handles the air for the ladies' locker room and the multi-purpose room, and that large air handler that produces that air is in the closet that's directly when you walk through the double doors from the gym to the multi-purpose. That's the air handler. Compressors outside, out back here. For the fitness area, the air handler is close to the bikes up at that other corner of the room, and outside of that is a 12.5 ton compressor system with 2 coils in it. We were having problems with the AC some time ago. COVID came along, of course, and everybody was a little nervous about utilizing the fitness, and then the air quality became a discussionary item. And the question was asked, was there outside air being given to that room like it would be up here? And the answer was no. So that there was a discussion, oh, we should put in makeup air down there from outside to keep the air fresh, and then put in some ionizers to make sure that that's kept clean. that was expensive. And, so I put that in, I think you see it in your, Lucy put it in there. This is from a while ago. That changing that whole system out is going to be fairly expensive. But currently the system that's down there is a 12.5 ton system, which is a monster for the size of the room that it's actually taken care of. And it keeps it now at 68 degrees where it's supposed to be. And we haven't had any real issues, from anybody complaining about the quality of air or that situation.
So in your opinion, the air handler is okay for now?
I would say that it's doing exactly what it's designed to do right now. That's keep the air cold in there, but it does not have fresh air makeup. But the doors are being opened and closed all the time in the house.
I have a question about, you were talking about the square footage of the entire pro shop area, and you're saying that's smaller than the current multi-purpose room?
Yes, I think that the actual square footage of that room is smaller than the entire, because if you take out the closet that's down there, because part of her deal is to take away the closet. Once you have that,
Yeah.
that whole thing, you've got quite a bit. You look at what we're sitting on here,
Mhm.
you know, it's a pretty good, because it's from this wall all the way to those windows, all the way out to there. It's a pretty good
Is
size.
the
so.
square footage of the pro shop smaller than what the proposed multi-purpose room?
That I don't know. I was never looked into.
Not usable stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
Proposal?
it's, the pro shop is just about the same as multi-purpose, it was proposal.
Okay, any other board comments?
I thought John had something.
John Mulligan, are you up there?
Yeah, I lost connect. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We'll come back to you. Hang on, John. John Irish?
Yeah, I had a couple of questions and comments. So in the 2023 strategic plan from June 23, there were 3 items for the fitness. Were those taken into account? Are those included in this proposal? So including the flooring, the lighting, and the ventilation system, saying it's not required.
I didn't say that it's not, my opinion is that it's not there. And the system that is down there seems to be doing fine as far as keeping the air conditioning situation as it is. I can't say whether or not it's required or not. We haven't had anybody, we had previous residents wanted to see a change in that air.
Quality
Wow,
or temperature
yes.
or both.
No, not the temperature, the quality, just to have makeup air.
Mark, if we did want to change that, would it be reserved or will we have to,
Yes, reserved.
so if we decide to do that at some point, it would be reserved?
So it also mentions the laundry room.
Yeah, we
But
looked
we
at the,
haven't talked about the laundry room, so that's not included. There's no changes in that area at all.
we looked at that as part of the expansion, but when we looked at the cost of moving all of what's in there and matching the footprint, it was, I don't know if you've ever been there, it's kind of insane.
No, it's not.
It's a,
The operation, it's a factory operation.
yeah, it's
and then-
got, not only, but plumbing, electrical, natural gas, it's got,
Wouldn't be
all
worth it.
sorts of stuff in there that makes it a true commercial, operation down there to move all of that, utility work to somewhere else would be extremely expensive.
All right, John.
2 other things. I know we've said before, there's no way for us to really track effectively how many people are going into the multi-purpose room and how many people are effectively going into the fitness center on any given day. Because there's only one access point. We monitored for 2 weeks and we got an impression, we got a feeling of what things were like at that particular time. One of the comments that I heard was that the community's getting younger. And we used the pulse survey, the results of that. But I want to point out that Dr. Schoenfield used 2 different sets of demographics for the pulse survey and the tennis survey that were performed at the same time. And from the demographics that used in the Pulse survey, there's no way to determine if the community is getting younger or older, because both are probably happening.
'Cause we
But
don't
it's
have
so close, it's so close that there's no definitive way from this data that he provided to us to know that the community's getting younger. So I don't want that concept or that thought be perpetuating in the community, because it may or may not be true.
So we didn't ask that question in the survey.
Okay.
So it's not to suggest that the information proposed, that was in the survey in 2023 is incorrect, because the residents responded to it and said their age. Talking
Okay.
about a 12 months, 14 months, I don't know, 2 years. So
Right.
this has nothing to do with the age of the community. It has to do with 458 respondents say that they use the fitness facility 55%. The 55% of 458 respondents use the fitness facility.
Right.
27% of those that use it would use it more if we had increased variety.
Right. However,
I'm not,
my first thought was about 2/3, it turned out 65% of the respondents were 65 years and older.
I can't argue that.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do.
So that may or may not be factual. I just wanted to point out that if we're incorporating people's ages, the demographics into this
I didn't,
response,
I didn't.
because you can't get it from the report.
And that's the first statement. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I think it's better the older they are. John?
Can I stand up for a second?
Sure.
We're looking at today. You know, we're looking at doing this now, and we probably should. Let's look into the future. We already shot down the expansion a number of times. But if we do this year, and then next year, we follow Ed's idea of moving tenants downstairs, moving the NPR room up here. And then the following year, we solve another problem by taking that bar there and moving it out here where this glass is, and the area back there where those tables are, that becomes the expansion of the kitchen. The third year. Okay, so I just want to look at the future for a little bit rather than focusing on $150,000 in 1 year. Okay?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Any other comments?
Yeah.
Ken, I'm sorry, I didn't see you
Oh,
down
he's
there.
good, John.
Oh, I'm sorry, hang on, Ken, I forgot about you again, John Mulligan, go ahead.
Of course. Well, first of all, I think this was a lot more than I was expecting to spend. I think those guys did a good job in getting all the stuff together, and I'm not too worried about the multi-purpose room losing space. I don't think they really are. But I think for the amount of people that actually use the gym, I haven't used it all that much, but I was because of my hip and other issues. I was in there several times, and I never saw more than 5 people. Okay, I know I looked at the numbers. Sometimes there's 13 or whatever, but for the amount of people that use this and the amount of money, I'm not sure if it's worth it. And to throw in there, like you brought up, Mark or Steve, but okay, possibly doing something later on with expanding. Okay, will this ruin this? Okay, John Coyle just brought us some other things. Ed just brought us some other things. So I'm not sure if I don't want to do what we did with the damn pickleball court, build one, and we have to get rid of it 2-3 years later.
Whoa. Sometimes you have to do things in stages, and this
Yeah,
is a state.
But it states I don't want to just get rid of something because we didn't think through. And another thing I like to do is we're gonna have a new guy come in here, guy or gal come in here, and I would like to get their opinion on this also. That's just my thoughts.
Ken,
I think we gotta look at a lot more than what we're looking at. We haven't really decided on the air handlers and what we really need. The air handler that's handling the multi-purpose room today is handling the entire multi-purpose room. Is that going to handle the additional space still that's going into the fitness center? Or is the fitness center going to have to be tied into the system that's in there now. Because there's no real wall there. You're mixing two different systems to do one area. That's a big expense, and I think we need a study, and I also think. Yes, you got the same number of chairs you're saying you can fit in the multipurpose room. However, let's lay out the tables, let's have somebody draw it out, so we know how it's gonna be configured. Right now, we're guessing.
We were
Yeah.
we were down there yesterday and moved the tables down.
You didn't have the space for the,
Well, you can see what's in there. Like, you can go down, you're welcome to come down and look.
well, I know that,
Yeah, you were invited to come down and look at it.
but we still don't, you know, until you sit people at those
Well, you're gonna
tables and
spend-
know how they play. You can't decide on that, and if you're going to use it for the art facilities, if you look, the whole one end of that room is almost designed for the art people. And are we gonna take that much space to do the art people in the future? I don't know, but they've been doing this for years. How can we say that now we wanna take the multi-purpose room to do something that, and reduce things down there? I don't know. I'm not in favor of it right now. I think we've gotta study it further.
I think if we don't have a yes here, then this is going to stop here, because the community has spoken on 2 occasions and has been very vocal, and we have a good representation of the community. And we talked to Pierre about listening to the community. If we do not do this now, then we should just put this project at rest and say the board is not interested. Because you cannot touch a project for less than $100,000. Whether it's 122 and you want to throw in the air handler, throw it in, put it in reserves. That's outside the scope of, the ask was to expand the room and add more variety to the fitness facility, to add stretching and to expand the hours of business, which we've already taken care of. If we feel that this proposal doesn't satisfy that, then you're not gonna shrink the budget. We don't have any more landscape, and then we're gonna be status quo. So my suggestion would be, don't ask the community for their opinion if you do nothing. Because they're gonna get tired of saying it, and I started my opening with saying, what they bring to the board is not taken into consideration. And if we say no here, we are doing just that. We are doing a dissatisfaction to our community. This sounds like it's personal for me. It is, because I am a voter in this community, and I've been worked in corporations where if you ask your people and you do nothing, they aren't gonna like you. So we have a responsibility here, folks. And yeah, it's gonna be different for some people to what they do in the NPR, meaning, they have to book painting at 1 on Tuesday instead of painting at 1 on Monday. But then everybody still gets something. And back to, we did all this communication about Blue Zone. This is aligned to the Blue Zone project, our certification, offering more value, better health benefits for our community. And it makes us, in terms of market, when people are coming here knowing, wow, I can do fitness in here, I can do, different things. I just think that we need to really think about all of those things.
Also, go ahead, Lydia.
Lucy, I know you worked hard on this, and I appreciate it. But you've got to remember, Lucy, that we have an aging population every year, just as everybody else in the world does. And as people age, they were the tennis players. They were in the fitness. They were doing all those things. Their socialization is very important. It's part of our charter for the activities committee, that we want to improve socialization for all. Cards, games, things like that, that's a great way to meet. They're group activities, and they get to socialize. It's women, a lot of women. There are men, they have their own group too, but a lot of the women have lost their spouses. They need the socialization even more. And so when you take away from them It's, to me,
Okay.
it's, and I hate to say it, but it almost sounds callous.
But we're not taking away.
You are, you're putting them in a smaller area, going into a storage closet with very little light, and with a door opening and closing when people coming in from the outside to get to the fitness. It's
No,
unusable
that door
space.
is for the empty. We actually are enabling that outside door so that people who want to use the NPR don't need to come to the fitness center.
I'm talking about the outside door to the multi-purpose room.
There's gonna be a card reader installed there, so people can come in
Maybe tomorrow.
tomorrow.
So you don't have to go to the fitness center. and
Cross
walk
fingers.
to the NPR.
No, I'm just saying, if they wanna come in there, they can come in that door now to go to the fitness.
I guess we solved one problem and created another one.
That's right.
Okay, John, I just wanted to say to you, if we did do the gym and then we decide to do a bigger project down the road, we would leave the gym the way it is. Whatever architect, we'd say, the gym footprint is the gym footprint, and whatever you can come up with to help us out. I appreciate your comment, John, but I think we really need an architect in here to say, to meet with us and say, we need a bigger kitchen, we need a bigger multi-purpose room, we need, you know, whatever our needs are, and let them come up with a design that would meet our needs. But I think part of that would be, we're not gonna rip apart the gym we just spent $100 grand on. We're not gonna rip apart the gym, and it has to stay where it is. Just to kind of answer that. Any other comments before we move on?
Just one more for me. When they did the proposal for the expansion of the facility here, it was shot down by the community, right?
Well,
Did we just give up?
20 votes.
Exactly. So did we just give up and live with what we had? And
Well,
did we
well,
come back?
They
Or did we come back and redo it?
They did it twice. They voted once, it was down by 20, they came back, and it was voted down by 40.
Okay,
And that's when they said no.
But they did
Since
that.
that point in time, we've had, is he still here? Terry's Tiki Bar, was out there
right.
in the world. So, I mean, there has been some iterations of different changes. Yeah, and this was the final when, this was Plan C, not
Right.
B.
Right.
So C was this one here.
Yeah.
That was, you know, the only real expansion to this facility. Nothing was done downstairs, it was only up here, and the only expansion was taking the outside veranda of the bar and pushing that out to there and out to here. And that was the only change in footprint space. Besides taking away the walls that were kind of funky over there, but that's it.
Okay, again, I want to thank everyone for remaining professional and friendly during these discussions. I appreciate it. Stating your opinion is what you're here for. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna put a motion forward that that the board approve the fitness facility expansion as it's laid out in the deck that was in the board presentation. As option 1, which is 138,146.22. On the contingency that we don't move forward until we have considered final bids. We have architectural drawings and permitting. Permitting, of course, after approval, right? Because we've been permitted. We don't have to.
You mean board approval? Oh, yeah.
Second,
Second.
John Coyle seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
4. All not in favor.
Aye.
Got that? Motion denied. Thank you, everyone, for your discussion, and Lucy, thanks for your input, especially from your committee. Old business, Mark, we have anything there?
The post and panel signs to match the street signs, the street signs. Those were painted, repainted green with a new street signs in them. the posted panels would be the same, a darker green with the brand new lettering, and you see that quote in your packet for, I think it's 16,900, is that correct?
I'm sorry, what are we doing?
Repainting
panels.
post and panel, we're on new business. Repainting post and panels.
Yeah, so that's 16,900 for that. That's taking those all apart, putting them all back together so they look brand new.
Motion from anybody? Rick makes a motion second. John Irish, any more discussion on the post and panel signs? Go ahead, Ed.
We only received one bid.
The only reason I did is because he's the guy that built them, put them together, and has done all of the current work in the community on them. I don't know of another company other than Likens that does signs in the area, and Tony Likens sold the company, and he now works for this company here, so.
Seems like a fair price to you, though.
Yeah, to do all of those, completely take them all apart, all the ones that are throughout the entire community, including the ones in Manatee and in back of Manatee, all the way down to Sanctuary Point, so.
Any other discussion?
Mark, is this in reserves?
Yes, I would have to say, yes, it is.
Haven't had a
Because
chance
it's
to look
existing
at it.
asset. I'd have to dig them out where they are, but yes.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Anyone against? Okay.
Aye.
Ed, one negative. Repainting streetlights, Mark, again, the only thing that's black out there are our streetlights, and I just thought it'd be a good idea if we could get a price to paint them green and keep our community looking really, really nice. So that when my relatives come, they make comments on how nice our place looks. Opposed to Worthing. But Mark, go ahead. What was the
So-
quote on that?
So the quote on for doing all of those 84 light posts was 39,940 grand. I don't know where that is in the reserves because those light posts
Purdue.
are new-ish, and the paint on them probably doesn't come up for lengthening their life in the reserves for probably some period of time far away from now. So this would be probably more of a capital project than it would be.
Kind of a lot higher than I was thinking.
Yeah.
When we talked about it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, they have to take them all down.
Can we just put this on the next agenda and see when it would be covered under reserves
Sure.
and just go to next meeting? It's not critical that we do anything with it today.
Okay, you want, no action,
No action,
table till next.
table till next meeting.
Okay, good.
Sim Cody,
I'm gonna let Suzanne handle this one.
Okay. One of the responses of a few of the many in the pulse survey was our roads have paint all over them and they haven't been seal coated in many years, which is true. Back in the day, we used to seal coat the entire community in a hole, and when we started doing the asphalt replacement, then we kind of started piecemealing and sectioning when we seal coated this area, redid the asphalt in that area. So this quote is to redo the seal coating in the entire community. It does exclude the parking spaces in the coach homes, as those are the responsibility of the sub associations. So Mark got 2 quotes from Atlantic Southern and Bain Seal Coat.
I actually got 3 to begin with, but CNM Paving did the seal coating the last time, which we felt wasn't done very well. It was actually the highest bid, so we threw him out. So we're down to these 2,
Big spread.
yeah, which is Bain and Atlantic Southern.
Mhm.
Bain Seal Coat is a seal coating company. They don't do asphalt work. They don't do roads or anything else. They are strictly Bain Seal Coating. That's Pete Bain and Mike. They have done work in here before. They were one of the primary seal coating companies that we used to use back in the day, but when we started doing the rip wrap, taking out and milling the roads and putting all new asphalt down. We had other companies come along such as Atlantic and Boness, do those.
Since I'm just off the record,
Yeah.
what are all those markings in the road and all the paint?
A lot of them were for the markings when you guys did the irrigation project, where they would mark where the cables are. and
There's a
such.
million of them. You can ride your bike around. You can ride it.
Yeah,
All right, do we have a motion for the seal coating from anybody?
Now, Molly, do you want
John?
to chime in?
he's muted.
Yeah, I got a question on the Bain seal coats, 178, but then you have a little asterisk, includes parking spaces. Is that the condo parking spaces, and will that be removed?
Yes, well, we requested on numerous occasions to get a revised quote from them to not have the condo parking spaces included in their proposal, but we haven't gotten a revised one as we sit here, so this is what we have in front of us.
Well, the price.
Right,
change.
but that probably will come down, and
It would come down, but it wouldn't come down near, I wouldn't
Yeah.
assume it would come down, your 60,000 less
Yeah.
compared to your.
Right.
Doesn't
well,
go-
I mean, the only comment I have to make is, I think Mark touched on it a little bit earlier about reserves. This year, we're gonna do a full study and actually look at the real big ticket items, given what has gone over crazy the last couple of years, especially with all the manufacturing and, not manufacturing, constructions type things. We are, apparently, if you look at the numbers, we are under reserved for those. But needs to be done, needs to be done. We've been under reserved or over reserved in certain other areas also, so it's just, we'll just come out of reserve. So I think it needs to be done, it needs to be done. But we will look at it and get better estimates of what these things are gonna cost, especially for the big ticket items. And with all the tariff stuff going on, who the hell knows what it's gonna bring us come next year.
And we just want to make sure this project gets done while Mark's still here.
Yeah, so
That's me to stand out in the street and direct traffic.
Yeah.
Cause we know how you people drive.
Okay, and we have a motion for the seal coating?
Can I do, before you make the motion,
Okay.
can you add to the motion that people who drive on the seal coat and go onto the driveways of their units are going to be responsible for their cleaning of those driveways? It is not the association's
Especially if it's
responsibility.
pavers.
And I'm gonna tell you, we've had that,
I see.
and then they said, it wasn't, it's your fault, you put the seal coat down. We have to make that as a, and we didn't have a board.
They're on their own. If they
behind
drive
it the
through
last
it and go in their driveway, they're on their own.
Or I would say add to that, or anybody's vendor or guests,
Right.
Yep.
the homeowner becomes responsible for their damage.
Okay,
So are we accepting the main seal coating? for this?
I think Atlantic Southern's cheaper.
Do we know anything about either of them?
Yes, we've used Atlantic Southern here before as well. They're a reputable, good company as well.
Well, we're hungry or for the work.
go ahead, Rick.
Make a motion to accept the Atlantic Southern quote for 117.
Second?
Second.
Ken, any more discussion?
If you want to add to the motion, what you just said.
Rick said it perfectly, it'll work itself out. I got it.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Anyone not? All right, Mark, Wildcat Cove Lake riprap.
This is, was tabled, brought back. It's, now, in front of you. There was 3 quotes. The middle quote was 27,000, so that the high is 37, the low is 24.5, is that correct? 24/7, I would say that, and I know that 24/7 will get me exactly what I need. Along with making sure that there's no damage to the existing.
Is that a company you know or not?
Yes, and we use
The
them,
company you know?
we use them in here a lot, yeah.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we accept Mark's proposal for the Wildcat Cove Lake riprap. Any second? Lindia, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Committee appointments.
Hold on, are you using the 3 service? Who was that second on that riprap?
Linda.
Thank you.
You wanna go through these individually, probably?
Do you need? to?
Usually it's as presented, so that you
I can
can,
go, we can do them all in one plate. if the board's okay
that
with
way you don't have to read everybody's that over the time, you can just do it, and then we'll post this
If
immediately.
anybody in the audience wants to see it, I'd be glad to show you my copy, but all the, committee appointments are here. Activities, architectural standards, communications, compliance, finance, landscaping, pickleball, tennis, and the fitness project team. I make a motion that we accept all the committee appointments as in your packet.
Second.
Seconded by Ed, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
My only comment to follow is please, board liaisons, reach out to those that weren't selected at this time to let them know they weren't selected, so they are not in limbo.
Good idea, thank you.
Got
Thank
them
you.
under an hour.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that we go into executive session for a few minutes to discuss some personnel matters. Do we have a second?
Second.
Ken, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, approved.
Do you want me present in the executive session?
No.
John, we're gonna
Can we?
carry you in there, just
Yeah.
stay tuned, we're just gonna get off of. Gotta get off of the